A lot of talk is that the Buffalo Bills will be drafting 2 wide receivers in this year's NFL draft, but why not look internal like a player as Deonte Harty? Deonte Harty going with Ronald Curry, who we just brought in here as our quarterback coach, having history dating back to New Orleans. Ronald Curry also being with Joe Brady in New Orleans. And let's just remember here, that's when Deonte Harty had the best season of his career. Why do you think we brought Deonte Harty here to the Buffalo Bills? Because of that potential that he showed during that season with Ronald Curry, a coach that we just brought in here as our quarterback coach with Josh Allen. So I really think Deonte Harty being paired up back with Ronald Curry, understanding him super well, I think Ronald Curry is going to be able to put him in the best position to succeed in 2024. Now, the other thing here too is I think it's also going to help Stefon Diggs. It's really going to help Joe Brady. We've been talking about it. Complementary football, right? Utilizing certain pieces of field, attacking a certain piece of the field so that it opens up another, using routes bounce off one another. And I really believe that our quarterback coach, Ronald Curry and Joe Brady and all these guys are going to be getting together and scheming things up, especially against opposing defenses. Like they're going to know exactly what to do with Deonte Harty. So instead of putting so much weight on the wide receiver position and drafting 2 wide receivers, knowing that we have Deonte Harty, Stefon Diggs, Khalil Shakir, I think the Buffalo Bills might really just try to develop internally here with Deonte Harty, who is now in year 2 with the Buffalo Bills, should have a much easier start to the 2024 season than 2023. Plus, you couple that with his history being with Ronald Curry, and I am loving it. I'm absolutely loving it to see what that presents. Now, there are some additional free agents the Buffalo Bills should consider. And the first on my list here is actually Isaiah McKenzie. Isaiah McKenzie, he knows this scheme. He knows this offense. Really didn't get to play with Joe Brady. I don't know why he ended up leaving. We just got rid of him as a team. I think it was more so like a cap hit. And he went to the Indianapolis Colts. We bring in Deonte Harty. And I think Isaiah McKenzie could very well come back to the Buffalo Bills, offer a depth piece to Khalil Shakir, offer a depth piece in the kick return, punt return department to Deonte Harty. And I just think that would be still a great fit. I'm a big fan of Isaiah McKenzie, the face of the franchise, the positive attitude that he ultimately brings here. I love it. And we see what Ronald Curry has done with a 5'6" Deonte Harty, a small, fast wide receiver. I think there's some potential there to progress Isaiah McKenzie for the Buffalo Bills in 2024. And I think the other things we have to keep in mind here are the other wide receivers, right? Ronald Curry worked with Michael Thomas, who led the NFL in the most receptions in NFL history. Michael Thomas is a tall, physical type wide receiver. And you look at Stefon Diggs, you look at Deonte Harty that are currently on this roster right now, and they're not the biggest, right? They're kind of smaller. Even Diggs is a little bit smaller. Khalil Shakir is a little bit smaller. Yes, we have the size with Dalton Kincaid, but he's not going to be necessarily on the outside. He's not a deep threat. He's just that middle of the field type threat. And I think the Bills would definitely benefit from drafting a tall, fast, physical wide receiver on the outside. Gabe Davis was supposed to be that for the Bills, but I just think Gabe Davis, he had the size, he had decent enough route running. I think he was a little bit long in his strides, maybe not that quick coming out of like these breaking routes and stuff, Gabe Davis, but he also lacked top-notch elite speed. I think he would set things up very well. Obviously, so many touchdowns in that 13 seconds game, he could definitely break loose. But having a deep threat ability, stretching the field vertically is ultimately going to pay big-time dividends for the Bills in 2024. And yes, we can do that with a Deonte Harty. We can do that with a smaller back or smaller wide receiver, but I just like the height. You go back to the final game there against Kansas City Chiefs with Josh Allen throwing that ball up, and it's not necessarily like these touch passes. Like Josh Allen has such a strong arm. He's not like floating these perfect balls in there to these wide receivers. Like I think Josh Allen would be better throwing it on a rope. We know that he could throw it on the rope. And you go back to the pass that Stefon Diggs dropped. I mean, that was like a 60, 70-yard rope. It wasn't this like floating ball that Stefon Diggs could gently grab. I mean, you got to go up and catch it. You got to have strong hands. You got to be tall, physical. You got to be fast enough to get down there. You got to be able to body the guy out, utilize your body, and get in the right position. And that's just not Stefon Diggs. Just not Stefon Diggs. And I know Diggs and his miracle touchdown that he had there too, he did go up after it. He caught it, put his hand on the ground. Great run after catch ability. But I still love the idea of bringing in a tall, physical, fast wide receiver. Justin Shorter is still on my radar here. I really hope Justin Shorter progresses. A lot of rumors are saying that he is working so hard behind the scenes. A lot of the other wide receivers, even Diggs and some other players, were saying like this kid is going to be a freak athlete. So we know what we have in Justin Shorter internally. As fans and outside perspective, we really don't know. So, looking at this year's NFL draft, I really believe that we will be drafting a wide receiver without a doubt. When it comes to free agency, I don't know if we're going to address it. Like maybe we get Gabe Davis back on a fair deal. Maybe we get Isaiah McKenzie back on a fair deal. Laviska Shenault is out there too that people are talking about. Even Ray McLeod, an ex-Buffalo Bill, is out there too. I just think the Bills would benefit from bringing some additional pieces in. Just don't forget Trent Sherfield is a free agent that is hitting free agency here too. But, I really believe that Ronald Curry is going to get the most out of Deonte Harty, spending so many years together. I think it was, 4 years together in New Orleans with Deonte Harty. He understands him more so than probably any coach on our staff right now. And he's gonna be able to bring a lot of information, a wealth of knowledge to Joe Brady in this offense to really help explode the production for Deonte Harty in 2024. I love it. I absolutely love it. You guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are you thinking? I mean, it really starts with correcting the cap space. It's so hard to look past the cap space, but I trust Brandon Beane. Like, I know he's going to correct it. But it's hard to say, we're going to bring in a Mike Evans or we're going to bring in a T. Higgins because we just don't have the cap space, right? So it starts with correcting the cap. Then we're going to move on to free agency, the NFL Combine, start listening to interviews, and just ultimately who is going to be best for the Bills. And I'll probably be releasing my top 5 prospects in each and every single position going forward here. But man, I'm just waiting for Brandon Beane to start correcting things in this cap space department so we can figure things out. If you appreciate this video, make sure you hit like, subscribe. Check the link in the description too for the Buffalo Chicken Wing merch. We just had someone buy a hoodie yesterday. Also, the course careers, you guys could sign up to a free introduction course from software development, data analytics, IT, HR, human resources, like whatever you want. You guys could start a free course, ultimately buy the course if you're interested, land a remote, high-paying job, $70,000, $80,000 starting out, fully remote. But I appreciate you guys all so much. Hit like, subscribe, and go Bills.